Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And today I'm reviewing a film that's currently in theaters. The movie that I'm referring to is the 2025 film Wicked for Good, directed by John M. Chu. So this is the sequel continuation of the movie Wicked that came out last year, which of course is actually just a reproduction of sorts of the stage play. Now, for the most part, Wicked for Good is a retelling of the second act of the play Wicked, while Wicked, that came out last year, was a retelling of the first act. Now, there are some new additional songs and sequences that are not from the actual stage production, and it was their attempt to kind of round things out a bit more. However, I will say this. With the story that goes on here, I don't know if you needed to add more to it. I mean, the first film was very long, and this one, clocking in at around 2 hours, is also relatively long, so I don't know if you needed to add more into it. And as someone who has seen the stage play, I also feel like the second act isn't as good as the first one. Mind you, there are some cool things that happen and some pretty good songs, but probably the best songs and most of the interesting stuff does happen in that first act. Now, the story for this one does pick up where the last one left off, where we now have Elphaba being essentially a pariah in Oz, and the wizard and Madame Marble are trying to make it seem like she's evil and she's completely against all of the other Ozians. And Glinda, for the most part, is working as kind of like a secret agent of sorts, to where she still considers Elphaba a friend, but is also being the kind of primary witch for this side. But she is being overcome by that power and that allure, so maybe it's not entirely an act. Also, in this time, Fiyero has become the head of the guards, but he also is not really happy about what the wizard is doing here. And there's a couple of other characters. We see what Nessa has been up to. We see what Bach has been up to, and a couple other random characters as well. Now, along with the continual story of Elphaba and Glinda, we also get a little bit of the characters from The Wizard of Oz making their first real appearance, as Dorothy is now there, although you don't really see much of her. But you also have the Tin Man and Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion, which, if you haven't seen the stage production, I'm not going to say anything about where those characters come from or how they're introduced, because I don't want to ruin anything. Now, I definitely feel that Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande do an amazing job in this, but we also have some really good performances from Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, Jonathan Bailey, Ethan Slater definitely, but we also have Marissa Bodie as the character of Nessa as well, doing a very good job of continuing to be that annoying character while thinking that she's the good guy. So, as for what I thought about the entirety of Wicked for Good, I do like the story for the most part. There are definitely a lot of moments where they seem to really rush things, or they don't actually show you what's happening, either because maybe they think you can put the pieces together, or because you've definitely seen the stage show. But I don't know. I feel like there's moments where it really skips ahead that didn't work so well in the movie version of this. They also add a couple of songs, which some of them are good, but there's also quite a few that it's just kind of like, okay, great, another song. Let's get on with the story here. But all in all, I did really enjoy everything about it, the performances, the characters, the story for the most part. So, at least in my opinion, I'm going to give Wicked for Good a 3 out of 5. Now, as to whether or not I do recommend checking this one out, absolutely, especially if you're a fan of the first film, a fan of the stage play, or even just a fan of the world of Wicked, whether it's the books or the Wizard of Oz or anything else that's related to it, it is still fun to watch. So if you've already seen Wicked for Good, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. So I hope you enjoyed my review for the film Wicked for Good. And if you'd like to see what I did for my review for the first film, go ahead and look up Wicked on the Askewed Reviews TikTok or YouTube channels. And if you're just a big fan of Wizard of Oz or things related to that, last year for the 85th anniversary, I did a whole bunch of trivia reviews for a lot of other films that are related to The Wizard of Oz, like The Wiz or Return to Oz or The Muppets Wizard of Oz. So feel free to look those up on the channel as well to find out a bunch of other trivia and information for all these other films that you might enjoy.